Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
What is up, everybody? It is the Dennis and Andy show, wearing our lovely Lilith shirts with art by Fantastic Bud Root.
And we didn't even plan this. I thought for sure he was going to be wearing the heavy metal core dress shirt, but no. Alas, we're twinsies.
We are twinsies, just like Arnold and DeVito. I'm the big handsome one, and Dennis is the big butt still kind of stumpy looking. If you see his legs, the length of his legs, for a guy that's 6'8", his legs belong to Danny DeVito. It's weird. Like his feet right now are doing this. Like his feet aren't even touching the ground.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a small ween too, but the legs are definitely doing it.
Wow, we can never even get 2 minutes into a show, can we?
You brought up Deadpool. That's
that's legs. That's got nothing to do with it.
Whatever.
Well, guys, this is our first show after we have finished core draft. We stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, closing it
3:30 because we chatted afterwards.
We did, so I didn't get to bed till 4. But you know, we closed it. It closed strong. You guys are all great. We are tired, but this is Wednesday, new comic book day. We have great guests, and that we teased out. We may be done, but there are lots of great projects that are out there waiting to be backed.
That's right. It feels weird. I told Dennis, I said, it's weird having the print files sent out to the printers and stuff. And I mean, when you're doing crowdfunding, for those that don't know, and our two guests can attest to what I'm about to say, during the whole time it's funding, the live time and the in-demand time, until you actually shut the campaign down, it's every day you're just like, what can I do to promote this? What can I do to do this? What can I do to spread the word and get the word out? And now, like, when the campaign was officially closed, it was just like this sigh of like relief. Looking forward to getting the book, back from the printer and stuff. So let me scroll down here. $5 from Randy.
Whoa!
$5 core drafts finished by giving a solid 12,000 in 12 hours. Well, is that what it did? I had no idea. I thought it was like 8 or 9. It's just a blur.
It really is. Everything was going so quick, doing our own show, hopping on there, going back and forth, figuring out what we were doing. And then by then, making me drink beer. And I see AJ in there. I drink the Barbarian beer he had brought us. And, and then we got into the good stuff like the Guinness and some of the other dark ones. So, guys, that whole night was a blur. Where's your funny book?
Well, here's the fun thing about that is he says, "Where's my funny book?" And my first reaction is, we are doing the fulfilling, and we have like over 1,700 to fulfill. I think AJ should be 1,699.
That could be the case. Boy,
with
anybody
who talk like that,
right?
Getting on here, and
or we could do it mystery relevant. You could be number 1,751, the last one. See, now Marcus is always very nice to us, so he'll get his books first, because, or however they print them off on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. So anyhow, without further ado, we shall bring on our guests. We've got Mr. I got to get over the right one. Mr. Brian, hello.
Hey, how are you guys doing today? Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah.
Glad having you back.
And then our other guest could be Dennis's brother, and that is Clint Hilinski. Look at these two; they're like mirror images.
What's going on?
From the neck down.
You know, Clint, if you stop wearing sleeves, I think we're brothers.
I've never gone the sleeveless look. I think my wife would frown on it, but yeah, I've never. I gave up on tank tops in the late '80s. So
my wife does frown on it because she's the one that removes my sleeves and tapers them all down. She hates it, but I was like, "Gotta do what you gotta do." I can't have arm armor sitting there just.
It's a gun show every day.
It's funny because Dennis wears shorts year round, but honestly, he does wear the pants in the family. Because I can tell you right now, if I gave my wife a stack of T-shirts and said, "Cut those sleeves off," and not only that, get your sewing machine out and make them nice and hemmed up so they look pretty, my wife would laugh in my face.
Yes.
At me. It probably wouldn't even care if they stabbed me and be like, "There's the needle and thread. Do it yourself." His wife is like, "Yes, sir." It's weird. I thought the Handmaid's Tale outfit she wore was for Halloween, but now I realize whenever I go over there, she has it on. And I'm like, "You got it made."
I am really glad she doesn't watch our show.
That's the safe thing, is you don't really have to worry about the wives watching your comic book internet show, talking with your other comic book friends. For some reason, the wives are never very interested in that.
Yeah. Deanna has zero interest in any of this stuff. Yep.
Okay. I will go in and do
What was that, Brian? I'm sorry.
I said that Deanna, my wife, has zero interest in any of this. I think that the best word to describe her is tolerant.
Oh, dude, his wife bags before books.
Really?
I mean, she does all this stuff. Mine won't have any of it. So I'm actually like, First Man was all me. And when it came to fulfillment, I was lucky, Dennis helped out for like a couple days. But I just didn't feel right being like, "Come on over every day." It's not his thing. But this is ours. So when fulfillment time comes, I'm going to be like a boss and be like, "There's the punch clock, time in and time out, bitch. We got books to ship. Get over here at 7:30. You'll leave when I say you'll leave. And here's your quarter for the day."
Fulfillment.
Chump.
Yeah, I used to collect football cards too, and we used to sit there and get boxes of them, and she would sit down and sort them. We'd open up all the packs, all the brand new boxes. We'd sit down and sort them. She'll bag and board, but we'll watch TV or something. She'll help me. She's always done that kind of stuff. And before we got married, I made her read.
Dude,
X-Men.
that's because they're football cards, and every one she looked at, it was a man in the top physical shape you could be.
I know, and she looked at me and looked at the card, right. Like, "Wow, they're the same."
No, she looked at the card going, one day, every third or fourth card. Do you think you could get in shape like that?
Now she does have a thing for Howie Long, so that was one of the things. The Howie Long, so that's why she will put. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the name.
That's because she falls for his last name, Long.
See, God bless our supportive spouses. Yep, I cannot complain. My wife, she makes me sleeveless. She does comics. She goes to all the comic book movies. She used to do conventions with me back when I used to sling books.
Wow.
And would help me carry the books in and out, all the long boxes.
Oh
honestly, right? Look at nobody, they're all shaking their head.
Yeah, no way.
My wife went to one comic book convention with me, and I think she lasted about 2 hours, and then she was out of there, and that was it. It was like, "Oh, okay." Bye.
My wife went to a comic convention with me, and I joked with her after she left because she left so quick. I said, "Wow, convention quicker than it takes me to finish in bed. Look at that. You could have at least stayed more than 2 minutes." Just saying.
See, Joe gives her a blank stare. That's right. Oh, I can't complain.
Dennis the Slanger.
That's right.
So Dennis is, for a guy that does not want to see the Marvels movie, but he will because we do our movie reviews every week, so he has to go. And my daughter really wants to see it, so I have no choice. But I actually want to see it. Like Dennis is condemning it to the pits of hell from the trailers.
I have zero interest in this movie.
I don't mind. I don't hate the trailers because they're just snippets. I need to see the whole movie. But for a guy that doesn't want to see it, he certainly follows the news on it, and that's what we're going to talk about first.
Literally, you can't escape it, guys. So we just went and saw The Creator a couple weeks ago. $80 million budget. This movie looked like it was a $300 million good Marvel movie. It just had Star Wars. The special effects were great. The story was great. And they did it on a shoestring budget. The huge tanks, the battles, the AI, everything was amazing. $80 million. The Marvels movie, and I'm not fond of any of the three characters. Monica Rambeau was okay. Kamala, I couldn't even finish. I started watching the series. I got halfway through and I went, wow, I can't do this. And Brie Larson, she's about as exciting as a moldy donut.
Well, I mean, Dennis, honestly, with Kamala, you have a sign on your door at home that says there's a Muslim band entering my home.
Wow.
So, I mean, that doesn't shut.
Well, we weren't going to be monetized anyway, so
just make sure of it, right?
Yeah, but no, I
mean, I don't like. I have no interest in Kamala Khan. But see, here's the interest. You brought up character. When it comes to actresses, I will say, the actress that plays Monica Rambeau, I think I've seen her in multiple things. Yeah. And I think she's great.
She's a good actress.
Yeah. And I think she's hot.
Yeah.
Brie Larson. Brie is like, one day you look at her, you go, yeah, okay, you're attractive. And then the next day you're just like, no.
It's like that Seinfeld episode. If you remember, if you guys watch Seinfeld, the girl that was either in the light and she's like, lighting, or out of the light, and you're like, oh,
the Two-Face.
Yeah. And Kamala, the actress that plays her, she's a cute kid. She's a cute kid. But she doesn't annoy me. Like Brie Larson's annoying.
Yeah.
The problem
I went into Miss Marvel or the Kamala Khan, the Disney Plus show. And like right away, like I just looked at it as like, I'm not the target demographic for this. This is like aimed, I think, at like teenage girls. They want to get teenage girls to like, they want to sell them the toys. It's like I looked at it like that, and yeah, it was awful. Like I didn't finish it. I like kind of saying what you guys just said, like Photon, or the actress that playing Photon, or I'm not sure they're calling her that yet. She was the Scarlet Witch Disney Plus series. She was awesome in that. That was a great series. That's probably the best Disney Plus series of all of them that I've seen so far. And she was fantastic in it. So seeing more of her in the movie, that's probably the one thing I would be interested in. But from the trailers, it looks like she's playing third fiddle to the other two, which
probably.
Yeah.
Going along the same lines of what Clint said about the demographics for Ms. Marvel, the TV show, I agree that I'm not the target demographic. I'm way outside of it, and went into it with the same idea. I think, though, as bad as it was, one thing I thought that they did well was incorporate her Muslim beliefs without trying to make me agree that that's correct. They just, when they celebrated something, they didn't try to force feed it to me. They just happened to be celebrating it. So that was one thing I think they did right, is that they didn't try to shove that down our throats. She just happened to be Muslim.
Well, when Dennis watches Mississippi Burning, and he's like, look, they're not shoving the Klan down my throat. I enjoy this movie.
Just can't help yourself, can you? Seriously. I don't know why we.
So I watched all of Miss Marvel because my daughter did, and I agree. And I think I told him right after watching the first couple, I was like, "This is a Nickelodeon show, basically."
Yeah.
Or a Disney, like it's a Hannah Montana show. Whatever. So when I watched it with my daughter, watching it through that lens, I don't think it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can watch, like Hannah Montana, I didn't think was a great show, But when your kid's growing up and she's 10 years old and wants to watch it, you're like, okay. And it was cute and stuff, but
well, let me ask you guys. This is my take on it. In order for anybody that's going to go see this to really enjoy it, you pretty much had to watch that Scarlet Witch show, Vision. What was
WandaVision?
WandaVision, yeah.
Yeah, WandaVision.
right.
And you had to have watched pretty much Kamala Khan's series. You needed to watch that. And you also needed to probably watch the original Captain Marvel with Brie Larson. That was sandwiched between the two of them. So how many people out there, other than true, real diehards, are going to cover the basis of seeing all three to walk into this and going, hey, I know what's going to go on.
That's what Marvel's done with everything.
But
I don't think everybody watches all the Marvel stuff the way they used to.
Right.
It's different now than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, everybody was lining up to see the new Marvel thing because it's all in continuation.
It's not even 10 years ago. It's 19 when Endgame came out.
Yeah, pre-Endgame.
Everything. I guarantee if you saw a graph, everything after Endgame started doing this.
Big
and then
time.
some of the shows probably made it really, angle down harder. I think, like everything, Iron Man was here. And as the movies came out, I think if you look at a graph from 30,000 foot view, it's mostly up towards Endgame. If you zoom in, there were some sequels that were stinkers. So there's the downs, but then it goes up. Now I guarantee everything's going down.
Well, Miss Marvel show was the lowest rated Disney Plus Marvel show of all time. So nobody saw that.
She-Hulk was.
No, She-Hulk beat it.
Oh, damn.
Barely.
Yes, barely. Yeah.
But
no, I mean, Marvel's in a free fall. And I mean, this not off topic, it's still Marvel, but the fact that they just fired and canned all the writers and directors of the Daredevil relaunch, and it sounds like 6 or 7 episodes were already shot and they're canning it, starting over from scratch, shows you what kind of situation they're in. Like they've lost their way. Kevin Feige might still be in charge, but there must be showrunners, writers, stuff that they've lost that they have not been able to replace with quality people. Marvel looks rudderless at this point right now. And it shows in all. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder was just such a god awful piece of garbage that I've got zero faith. In any of the new Marvel stuff coming out, let alone Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, the Marvels, whatever you want to call it. The first Captain Marvel wasn't really that good of a movie. It was just wedged in between two of the most popular movies of all time. And it sucked the, it drafted off of them, if you will.
Yeah.
So the new Marvels movie, I'll go to see it just to see how bad of a train wreck it is. That's kind of my thinking on it.
Sure.
Using the mega bands. Go ahead.
Travis Parrott for $5. After watching the Marvels, Andy has turned into a male feminist that drinks soy lattes. That is not true.
He does not at all. He does not drink soy lattes.
No, I just drink the soy milk by itself.
That's right.
Right. I'm going to go man boobs. No, I was
pinky up when you're sipping.
Exactly. I think going back to something about everybody seems third chair in the Marvels, except for it's a Brie Larson movie. Mm-hmm. The other two are just in. Now, will they have equal time? We'll have to watch it and find out. But even if they have equal time, it's still a Brie Larson movie. The thing that bothers me about it is, and it's bothered me about Captain Marvel as well, is, oh, look, it's a female bad guy. Which doesn't, I don't even know who the chick is that's the bad guy in the movie. I
think it's an accuser.
It is. That they've at least alluded that it is a female accuser, but
they should have just went with Ronan, or no? Well, he was taken out.
Yeah, he was taken out by Guardians.
But they could have brought in I said this about Captain Marvel, you know, when they took the real Marvel and turned it into a woman,
Annette Bening,
who I like, was just such a fail, because if you really want to show how powerful Brie Larson is, you know, Captain Marvel is, have her beat a guy's ass.
Yeah.
You know? And nobody would have said something like, oh, look at that, the woman beat up the man. No, it would have been like, no, it was a dude in the comics. You know,
right?
Just like this.
They could have picked Tiger Shark.
Huh?
Tiger Shark was one of Ms. Marvel's first villains in the Marvel series, so the Tiger Shark would have worked well.
Yes. And in this new Marvel's movie, have another accuser that's a dude. And that's the thing. It's besides Samuel L. Jackson, it's like, who cares?
You know, I
bring
with
that
the trailer.
Galactus, you know, somebody coming in to foreshadow it, make it mean something. This is another one. This feels like Green Lantern movie. Just throw away villains that we just get rid of.
That's
You know,
right.
using the negabands to switch places over and over again, I can see that would be funny for a short time, but it looks like they're going to milk the hell out of that, and it's going to get boring really fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that shtick is not going to last, and it'll show when people see the movie.
Yeah.
So the reason we're bringing it up was the pre-sales projections, they were 80, they're about 72% down now on current figures. That means they're averaging that it's going to come in around $50 million opening weekend. What do you say?
He said give Brie Larson a boob window, right, Clint?
I believe it will help the movie sell better. That's my strong belief there.
Well, it's funny. Any of the articles, if you all go on and Google right now and you type in, you know, Marvel's box office opening, it is the picture of Brie Larson with the bus shot, with the white tank top, and that's the only thing that they're showing. It's like, come on, guys, there's your reason to do it. And even the girls are like, really? Is that what's going to draw us in?
They really push that tight white tank top and just like, hey guys, remember Brie Larson's got a real nice rack, so please show up to this movie. You know, it's like it was just about as subtle as any of my comics was. I was actually proud of them for that. It's like the one decent move they've made in a while.
So we've got a $50 million opening. High end has it somewhere between 65 and 75 million. So that's not a great opening. That's half of what, to a third of what her first movie did. And on top of it, this sounds like it's the most expensive Marvel movie to date, which they said it's about 300 million, but they have not included. They've reshot the hell out of this movie. None of the reshoots and none of the re-editings have been factored into that. So how expensive is this movie going to be? Wow. I mean, this really could be potentially the most epic fail in the history of Marvel.
Welcome to the iceberg.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, you know, it's difficult for me not to go because I just, you know, I've been on the train for so long that I want to see what they do with the stuff. And, you know, even if we didn't do our weekly movie reviews and stuff, you know, I'd still go. So
I'm bringing a fire extinguisher so that when the train crashes and Andy bursts into flames in the middle of the movie, I will be able to put him out and save his life. So that's
yes, but will you? You'll be able to, but would you choose to?
After this show, probably not.
like Randy said, I'll take a hit for you guys. The Marvel is going to open lower than 2008 Incredible Hulk.
But, you know, Clint, you brought up a point about like with Daredevil. Think about Netflix Daredevil, the 2 seasons of Daredevil. That was low budget, absolutely the greatest low budget Marvel stuff could do. And I mean, I don't know anybody, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Did you guys like that series?
I did.
Oh yeah, the emphasis was on the writing there. I mean, they still they still messed stuff up that they could have done way better. But I mean, overall, everybody loved that, especially the earlier seasons of it, because it was well written. It was thought out. There was reasoning behind everything. They kept it close enough to the core of what everybody knows Daredevil to be.
That's the important part.
That's where Marvel's gone off the rails. Is they quit worried about writing. They've quit worried about sticking to the core material, and they think they can fix everything by throwing more money at it in production and making everything shinier and glossier, taking things less serious, more jokey. It's like they've created this Marvel formulaic cookie cutter that the earlier generations of Marvel movies weren't. They were close to what the comics were. They were close to what the fans' expectations were. And it's classic Hollywood executivism of, we know better than the fans, we know better than the creators. We're Hollywood executives for a reason. We can make our own stuff, and we can make it better than what the original stuff was.
Yeah,
and it happens to everything in Hollywood.
The fact that they're moving away from canon, I think, is their death knell, because some people will say, yeah, but the normies, the people who aren't comic book fans, won't even know that we've changed it. Okay, that's true, but if you were to follow canon, they wouldn't know that either. So just make it canon, and those of us who are fans will support the hell out of it, and those that aren't comic book fans will become fans anyway, because you'll keep it to the storyline that was well written to begin with. And I mean, it's through decades of experience of what was good and what wasn't, and they're just poo-pooing that, throwing it aside for whatever agendas they've got. I won't even get into that. And unfortunately, moving away from canon and getting to the cutesy side of things, in Iron Man, there was a couple of very sarcastic, funny quips that Tony Stark gave, right? So because people liked that, they thought, oh, let's do more of that. And now that's pretty much all they do.
Mm-hmm.
With Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, they were going for comedic effect, and that's not Thor. Thor is not comedy. I hated both of those movies because of that. Right from the very beginning, he's chained by Surtur hanging over the lava, and he's cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Thor might be irreverent and not afraid of Surtur, but he wouldn't be funny about it. He would just get to business.
Well, not only that, but if he's cracking jokes and he's already chained up, it's like, and he's basically like, yeah, I let you chain me up just so I can break out of it and kick your ass. Well, why would you waste your time? Just go kick his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a major plot hole there. It's like, okay, how did Thor get beat and chained up and thrown into this cage? He just let himself happen.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it doesn't. It was a cool scene in somebody's head. Like, oh, wouldn't it? It was like one of these. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did? It's like anytime a Hollywood exec starts out in the writers' room, like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Like any writer with this whole just got to be like cringing and be like, oh God, what are they gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, when Dennis and I mud wrestle, I just don't let him pin me right out of the gate. I put up a fight for a little bit, and then let the big guy put me down.
I hate to say it, but that image just, my eyes are piercing. I'm thinking of Stripes. If you remember, if you guys remember
John Candy.
With John Candy going.
That was such a great scene.
Around there and me just taking her up and smashing them all.
It was either when we mud wrestle or when we Indian leg wrestle. It was one of the two.
Oh dear God!
But then I realized that wouldn't be a competition because his stubby legs are so short. He couldn't get in position to Indian leg wrestle. Do you think One Piece success is having them retool Daredevil? I've heard a lot of great stuff about One Piece.
I haven't seen it
I have yet to watch it. Have you guys watched it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard everybody raving about it, so it's on my list.
It is on my list. I want to watch Gen V, and then I do really want to give this a shot, so I will probably do that. I am watching Demon Slayer. My niece said, Uncle Dennis, you need to watch this. It's really good. So I said, yeah, and it's interesting. It's an interesting anime. So, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there's too many channels and there's too many shows and they're all watered down and none of them are as good as they could be. Is part of the problem. It's
Yep, I agree.
yeah.
I agree. There's one on there I just started watching. It's called Severance, and it's been out, and I had never heard of it. I think, is it on Prime?
It's
or
on Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
And but it's just very interesting. Adam Scott is, they get a chip implanted in their brain, and when you go to work, your whole life stops, so you don't remember any of your personal life. All you know is your work life. And when you leave work, it switches again, and you don't remember anything that happened at work. You only remember your personal life.
Oh, interesting concept.
Now,
Right,
exactly.
exactly.
Compartmentalization to the nth.
Right. So I started watching that, and I am going to finish it. It's a slow burn, but the concept is so cool. And of course, there's these dark elements that are creeping in. So
Of course.
anyway, just thought, I don't know if anybody in the chat seen it, but let me know if it's worth finishing.
I overheard him on the phone with his doctor bringing up Severance and saying, is there a chip you can implant in my head so after I leave Andy's house, I can forget everything? And now I know why now I get the reference. Bastard. Not cool, Dennis.
There's a tone in Andy's sentence when he starts out where I can just tell it's going to be something bad about that.
Right.
Bad about me? What are you talking about?
Everybody can feel it. They can feel my whiplashes on the back every day. All right, let's move on. You want to pop up the?
All right, yeah. Let me do this real quick here. One more thing, and then we'll get to the campaigns you guys have going. Let me just do this. Let's see. This is it. Check. Can you see audio share tab? Yep. Oh, it is. Look at that. Boom. Boom. So South Park has a special coming out that I'm so looking forward to, and of course, it's raising eyebrows. This is the trailer for it. Let's watch this real quick.
It was really essential to what I wanted to make, and I didn't find a platform that did.
It's a brand new exclusive event with all your favorite
You guys hear it?
characters.
Yep.
There's Cartman,
I had explosive diarrhea all night.
Stan,
Dude, school is going to be so awesome today.
Butters,
Oh, hamburgers.
and oh my God, they killed Kenny.
I like big boobs. How does this even make any sense?
It makes perfect sense. I think the problem is you. South Park, new exclusive event streaming October 27th exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I am very much looking forward to that. Their COVID special was fantastic. This looks fantastic.
Into the Pandverse. This just looks, guys. The one thing you can say about Trey and Matt, they don't hold back on anybody. It doesn't matter what side of any aisle that you're on. They just come out blazing and will burn everything to the ground. But I will tell you, they have their thumb on the pulse of every current topic worldwide. I always give them kudos. They don't always hit a home run, but man, they have no fear. Disney is now planning on suing them to not only get this one stopped, which they won't do, but they also are coming out with another Mickey Mouse rip on Disney parody in either late January, early February. And Bob's already come out and said their legal team is going to be trying to stop them.
Like the level of success that they've had just lets them do whatever they want, and what they want still continues to be funny. But I saw a couple of comedians talking about Comedy Central, and these are the type of guys who would have like special. You normally think they would have specials on Comedy Central, and they were talking about how the executives at Comedy Central hate the stuff that's been popular. They hate South Park. They hate Tosh. They hate Tosh Point oh. They're the people that like love the Daily Show, love Jon Stewart, love Trevor Noah. That's the kind of comedy they want. And it doesn't sell. Like, it keeps Comedy Central down because nobody likes that stuff. They like the more highbrow, like, what is it? They're defending Broad City, like, as that was like one of the type of shows that they like. but the stuff that actually sells that people watch, South Park, Tosh is a massive hit for them for years and years and years. The people that run Comedy Central, they hate that stuff because it doesn't fit into their what they think comedy should be. So it shows you how powerful those guys are, that there's their number one show on that channel, and the executives hate it and would wish to cancel it tomorrow if they could.
Yeah, they can't.
But kudos to Comedy Central, which is now, I think, owned by Paramount, right? And they have stood behind them on every single thing that they've done, at least as far as we know. So I will give them kudos for allowing them to be creators.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I used to watch it every week. Now I pretty much just tune into the specials and stuff, but I just forget about it. But I do need to get back to it, because when it first came out, before it even came out, a buddy of mine was like, have you seen this thing called South Park, 30 years ago, whenever it was? And he sent me the VHS tape. VHS tape of the pilot with Brian Boitano. And
oh my gosh,
Jesus,
that's right.
Oh my God, I forgot about all that.
Because I think it came out in '97, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Back then it was Simpsons and South Park. That was theoretically still Simpsons, but
yeah.
Well, and it's like, think about how long these animated shows have been around for. Think about The Simpsons. Like, The Simpsons were around when I was in high school, and it's like, I'm not sure who watches The Simpsons anymore, but it's still on TV.
I know.
They used to be edgy, but they are kind of slapped on the wrist. They just don't do the edge, not like South Park. And
then when
none of the kids have graduated ever from any of the grades in school, so they've got a terrible school system.
Yeah,
it's got to be so hard to write new material for a show that's been on for that long, though. It's like you've done every storyline for every character multiple times in different ways, and it's like,
right?
Yep. I'm sure it's still a good gig to have writing for The Simpsons, but like coming up with a new storyline for Bart and Lisa, it's like, what are you going to write?
The ratings obviously have to be there, because if they weren't, I would assume Fox would be like, you're done.
32 seasons last I saw. It might be more now, because I actually did stop watching The Simpsons. But South Park, they bring in new characters like PC Principal. Peter Charles, I think, is what it stands for. Peter Charles Principal. But PC Principal, Stan, you're the problem. And I was like, who's this guy? I'm like, oh my God, he's so funny. So they keep finding new characters to introduce to bring a focal point on what's going on in America or in the world. They just do such a good job. I love it.
Well, and that's what I was going to bring up. Paul says The Simpsons lost it for me when they apologized for Apu. That was funny. Too much political correctness. And it's true, because Apu is the one that, who's the voice actor that quit? Because
Hank
he was
Azaria.
a white guy. I couldn't voice him.
What'd you say?
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria. And Hank is hilarious. I mean,
he does a ton of the voices. So I think it, like, all these people that apologize for this stuff are just protecting their own asses. They see what the climate is. It's like, that's a sweet gig for him. He was doing other voices on the show, so he's still going to get paid. It's like, nobody wants to stick their neck out unless, they're protecting their own bottom line. So
right.
Like, I understand why they did it, but it was unneeded. And it's like, the more you apologize to these people, the more they're just going to come after you. So it's
yes.
Like, well, it's that whole thing. They take an inch, they take a mile, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Mainstream, but that's just it. Mainstream, they just go down, and it's not like it's one or two. It's every channel, all the news, all the comedy, the late night. They're all focused in exactly the same direction. They all bash on the same people. It's just utterly ridiculous. But that's why there are independent creators, not only like South Park, but now in the comic books, We got independents. We finished our current one. You each have one out there. So I think it's a great time to segue. Did you see how I did that? Right. Independent creators.
In theme with the show and what we're talking about, I just want to say I think it's a good time to transition to the next stage of this show.
But this time, Andy, you don't have to pay $30,000 for that removal.
Why did I remove? I had it tucked in.
What you're going full turtle on that one?
Friend out, it keeps bottoming out.
All right. Well, who are we going to pull up first?
We're going to go with Mr. Brian first.
All right.
Dojo-kun.
So for those of you who don't know, the Dojo-kun are the 5 rules of the karate dojo. That's where that came from. So the book that we're looking at here is Janice Hardy's The Healing Wars, Book 1, Part 1, The Shifter. This is an exclusive license that I got to adapt Janice's trilogy into comic book form. I'm super excited to be able to do this. So I got to tell you, this is a fun project. It's great that she's involved as much as she is. And right here, you can't see the trailer because I recently played it. I will put it back to this.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Easy. Okay, so I'd like to play the trailer to get us going because I don't want to repeat everything that he says in there and then have you listen to it in a minute. So it's only 30 seconds. So let's give it a listen.
Naya is an orphan with a rare gift. Others with this gift can take pain from a person and transfer it into the cobalt blue metal known as pinvium. But Naya's gift is flawed. She can only transfer pain from one person to another. Orphaned on an island nation occupied by a conquering enemy and trying to locate her missing sister, Naya has to make sure they don't find out, or she'll be weaponized against her own people. Be sure to back Janice Hardy's The Healing Wars, Book 1, Part 1, The Shifter, from Dojo-kun Comics.
All right, short and sweet, that one.
Oh, there you go.
Basically, yes, that's the synopsis of the storyline. It's a hero's journey. It's a female protagonist named Naya, and she starts out with meager beginnings. She's both homeless and an orphan. She has to look for work, and it's hard to find work with this occupying army in the country. Additionally, other countries that occupying army has defeated, a lot of their people are immigrating to her little island nation. So all of their resources are being pretty much tapped. And she understands that somebody needs to stand up against this tyranny. And she's like looking around and she's like, I guess that's me. So, yeah. So on this one, I know I've only got a few minutes because we want to take a look at Clint's too. So I'll go a little speedy. We've got the cover is by Zilson Costa, who is also my interior artist. Zilson and I work together on Siamese 3 and 4. So he and I already have a well-established working rapport. He's great to work with. He's a storyteller just as much as I am. I've said that a lot. The artist, and I've talked to Andy and Dennis about this too. The artist is just as much a storyteller as the writer. So his help helps me distill these 400 pages of a book down to comic book form. Now, this one here is 28 pages, and it will be the first 92 pages of her book.
Oh, okay.
So this cover here was, like I said, by Zilson, colored by Don Edwards, who is also in our indie circle. He's got a book launching later this month called God's Eye Omega Mission. So check that out later this month. Cover B is by Renzo Rodriguez and colored by Josh Rodriguez. No relation. But as you can see here, this one here is less of a cinematic cover. So this one I made look like a movie poster. And this one here, I asked him to do a scene from in the comic book, which I appreciate when, as a customer, if there's a scene that's on the cover that never appears in the comic, I don't know. It's a small, pet peeve of mine, but it's like, can't you at least just tell me, a piece of the story on the cover? So that's what I'm doing here. And it is, in fact, the first meeting of Danilo and Naya. And here it is in the interior. So you can see some of Zilson's interior art here. I think he does a great job with, as you mentioned a minute ago, transitions from one scene to another. I love his puzzle piece idea here. And he does great. So in the distance, he doesn't do a lot of detail on these faces. But when they're close, he's really good, not only at drawing expressions, but also, I've been saying this on each of the shows, he's great at drawing characters who are teenagers as teenagers, not as just smaller adults.
Right.
You know, so that's a skill that's difficult to hone, and I think Zolson's really good at it because, after all, Naya is about 14 years old, so it's important that she doesn't look ultra sexy. She needs to look like a 14-year-old, you know. And the same with her friend Aylin, right here, the redhead. And there's other characters in the book you probably saw on this first cover. I'll go up real quick if it redraws it. Oh, come on, there we go.
There it is.
As you can see on the cover, there's even a 7-year-old in the story. So he has to be able to draw kids that look like kids. Okay.
Sure.
Beyond that, what I have is the making of Ashcan. It's 20 pages. And as you can see, the sample here, there's like the original sketch, the inked, and then the colored version. And there's other like character concepts and all that in this Ashcan. I know as a customer, I appreciate these things. So I'm hoping that others agree. I've got a 22-page coloring book that has some scenes from inside the comic, like here, the ferry accident, the two steamships that crash. So that is a picture they can color and more like that. There is a one-of-a-kind glittered sketch card. And by that, I seriously mean one-of-a-kind. There will only be one of these on this campaign. It's still available. And it, in addition to being signed, autographed by Dave Ryan, the artist, he also put glitter on her eyelids, her lips, and her manifestation of her powers. So I thought that was pretty clever.
That's cool.
And then in the tiers, in the largest tier, the featured tier, there is this 3D printed Danello's blade. This is the one that you see on the cover, in both covers actually. In the cinematic cover, he is up front and center wielding that blade. And then in the Renzo Rodriguez version, the blade is pretty prominent. So I thought that would be a great idea to do a 3D print of that. And if you can, guys, in Big and Me, I'll do this.
Oh yeah, let me hold on. Let me get down here. It's all layout. There you go.
Neato.
This and the fact that the filament that my printer used is like a black and red combination, which I thought was really sharp. So this is what it's going to look like when you get it. There are just 10 of these available.
Cool.
This is what the textures look like. I thought that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
This takes him about 16 hours to print each of these. So he's willing to do 10 of these for me.
Oh, wow.
So that's
will that pierce flesh?
I would think probably not. You could probably use it as a letter opener, though.
Oh, letter, jugular. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Just having thoughts as I look over at Dennis. That's all.
Just, do what you got to do. Let's see here.
How did you, before we move on to Clint's, how did you hook up with this author to get this going and stuff?
That is a short but fun story. So my wife read the trilogy of Janice's novels and really liked them. Suggested, since I like fantasy novels, that maybe I would too. She said it's a young adult book, but I think you're really going to love it, and it's a quick read. So she was right. I really loved it, and I had just finished reading it when my friend Steve called, and we were talking, and I told him, you should read this novel. He said, oh, yeah, I read that trilogy. Would you like to talk to the author?
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah. How would you hook me up with the author? And he said, I work with her husband. Oh. So this was just complete happenstance, guys. I mean, the fact that my wife suggested the novels, I mean, I suppose that's not so unusual. But the fact that I mentioned it to my friends, I've read a lot of novels that I haven't mentioned to Steve. I just happened to mention this one. And he just happens to work with the author's husband. I mean, what are the chances? So it was serendipitous that we got together. She and her husband are kind of comic book fans, so she's excited about this.
Oh, very cool. That's a cool story. That's neat. Let me grab the super chat from Randy real quick. Randy Howe, $5. Thank you very much, Randy. Nice transition into a fetching pair of six-figure young ladies. See what he did there, Dad?
Oh, I did, Randy.
Yes.
He is
from your mouth to God's ears, 6 figures. Let's go.
There you go. Well, that's cool, man. I hope people go and check it out and back it. It's on Fund My Comic and it's on Kickstarter, and the links should be in the description below.
I was going to ask, why did you choose any particular reason why you went both platforms?
Yes. So the people who have been supporting my comics recently, I think are more likely to go with Fund My Comic. A lot of people that we in these circles are sort of have reservations about Kickstarter. However, I didn't want to limit to Fund My Comics because I want to reach out to Janice's fans and other fans of young adult novels and all that to try to get their attention. Sure. And they're going to be far more familiar with Kickstarter.
Okay. Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool, guys. Go check it out. What were you going to say?
And for those of you who aren't watching it live, you'll be able to look down in the description below. I've got the links down below for both of these gentlemen's campaigns, so you can always go on there, check it out, or you can just Google it. But I can just copy and paste.
We make it easy for you.
That's right.
Exactly. Let's bounce on over here to Mr. Hilinski, Maidens of Mayhem. Now, I back your stuff. I'm trying to remember though. Is this the second one or no? This is the.
This is actually it's going to be 3 stories. So there's the Blue Bombshell story, a Pirate Queen story, and then the Sword Maiden's origin story. Yep. So I've already done one Blue Bombshell book. I've done 2 Pirate Queen books. So this is kind of like an anthology book with all 3 of the characters with new stories in there. And then I've got an art book and a digital backup story and all sorts of different stuff. But here, let me pull up the screen so I can scroll through here. So I think we got a backer right away when the show started today, which is awesome. We're at over 13.5 right there with 138 backers, which is terrific. Nice. But yeah, Maidens of Mayhem it's going to be 60 pages, 3 stories with Blue Bombshell, Pirate Queen, and the Sword Maiden. So it's obviously Blue Bombshell is a superhero story, Pirate Queen is a sci-fi story, and Sword Maidens is a fantasy swords and sorcery story, much along the lines of Cordrath. My pitch for the Sword Maidens is like if Red Sonja had a twin sister and then they both lost their tops a lot during their adventures.
It's 60 pages. So is each story, are you doing them evenly, like 20 pages?
No, it's I think what it breaks down to is the Sword Maidens is 22 pages, and then the Pirate Queen story is 20 pages, and the Blue Bombshell is like 14 or 16 pages. Cool. So they're not completely equal size, but like almost the size of a full comic book, and then the other 2 are the size.
Sometimes they do say that the left is a little bit larger than the right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, especially when they're natural, you'll kind of get that uneven proportion. So
right.
Yeah. So again, warnings to everyone. This is an adult comic, so there is adult content, and there will be nudity. I know I keep my comics pretty discreet, and a lot of people don't pick up on the sexual undertones.
It's really hard to tell, Clint.
Dennis reads it once, and then he comes over and goes, "Could you explain everything?" And I'm like, "Let's do another read through, Dennis."
Absolutely. So, and then there's also an art book in the bigger tiers. You can pick up the art book. That's going to have a lot of. I've been posting a lot of retro covers, which seem to be super popular. I'm going through a kind of a John Buscema phase right now, where I've just been looking at a lot of his stuff. This isn't the cover. I'll zoom down to my new favorite creation of mine, which seemed popular. I'll scroll through. I got a bunch of art on the page, so I mean, you can almost read like a whole comic just coming to my page and looking at everything. But there will be a new story for my new favorite character. And you mentioned Tiger Shark.
Exactly.
You mentioned Tiger Shark earlier. This is an homage to John Buscema's Miss Marvel cover.
Dude, I love
the one.
Yep, with my new character. He got bitten by a radioactive chicken and has become Thundercock. So,
dude, I would have so bet that if that was a real cover, I would have backed that in a heartbeat.
I should have made it a variant cover of the main book, but like it came up after the launch. It's like I come up with ideas as I'm running the campaign and throw them on here. So yeah, it was an unfortunate missed opportunity, but I think this is actually going to be the cover of the art book here, just because everybody loves it. So I'm going to make it the main cover for the art book. But yeah, that's I would like to show this because this is my sense of humor. This is the kind of stuff I liken, like especially the Blue Bombshell stories to the old American Pie movies. Like they don't make those kind of movies anymore. That kind of sense of humor and have tits in them and stuff. But it's like 14-year-old high school locker room behavior.
Porkies.
Most guys don't grow up.
Exactly. Revenge of the Nerds, Porkies.
Yep, exactly. So that's kind of what a lot of these Blue Bombshell and Pirate Queen stories, the humor is kind of right at that level.
So,
and,
Clint, there's a question for you in the chat.
Sure.
Is the art book available separately as an add-on, or do you have to get the box for it?
I don't usually do add-ons just because, with shipping, it becomes kind of a nightmare. So I keep them just in reward tiers. I might switch that up because what I'm debating doing for the second 30 days is I might do a reprint of Blue Bombshell #1, but break it up into 2 separate 24-page comics because that's the way the story broke down. And I might do retro covers for those since those have been so popular. So I get a lot of I missed Blue Bombshell the first time around. Can I pick it up? So I want to give people the opportunity to pick it up. So I'm debating about doing that. But the art book is only in the higher tier there. So that's it includes everything. You'll get the art book. You'll get a digital adult origin story for the other character there, Super Tits. When I can make Andy laugh with Andy's sense of humor, if I can make Andy laugh, I know I'm doing something right.
Bitten by?
What's that?
I said, what was Super Tits bitten by?
Yeah. Probably you.
She's like the Joker, except she fell into a vat of silicone.
No, she actually does have her own origin story. So she's a LonelyFans model. So she has a LonelyFans site online, and she has one of her guys, and some people call these people simps, is like one of these evil super villain scientist guys. So in order to get her attention, he gives her superpowers.
Oh, nice.
So instead of becoming a super villain or a superhero, all she wants to do is use her superpowers to gain more followers for her LonelyFans site. So what she starts doing is whenever the Blue Bombshell saves the day, she shows up and tries to grab attention for herself to gain more followers. It's kind of an analogy to all of these the cosplay girls.
Sure.
All these cosplay girls show up at the conventions, post their pictures of them in their superhero outfits online. None of them has cracked a comic book in their life, but they're huge comic book fans. So all these girls are dressing up as superheroes to gain more followers for their OnlyFans site. So it kind of inspired. That was my inspiration. I was Stan Lee over here thinking about OnlyFans, and of course I did research on OnlyFans models. So I hope my wife
what's
doesn't check my
OnlyFans?
credit card statements, but yeah, that's a little bit of the origin story. That'll be kind of playing into the story with Super Tits and her adult digital backup story. So, and original art sketches of the girls and all kinds of fun stuff in those bigger tiers. So hopefully everybody can check those out. But yeah, just I try and put a lot of funny stuff, a lot of action adventure, and try to really kick ass on the art. I'm influenced by a lot of different people, and I've never been able to stick to just one style. So some stories are a little bit more Wildstorm. Some stories are a little bit different styles.
Sure.
So I don't draw in the same style in all the different stories. Here's the Sword Maidens.
Yeah.
At some point, I wanted to do a Kordrath Sword Maidens pinup and kind of do it in the old Buscema style.
Cool.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to get around to doing that yet.
So when's the team up between the Tromboner and Thundercock?
Yeah, there will be. They're definitely going to want to double team the Blue Bombshell.
Okay.
That's right. In a fight, you dirty minds.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, everybody remembers the Tromboner now. So I think Thundercock and the Tromboner, I'm creating this rogues gallery of villains for the Blue Bombshell to rival Batman's rogues gallery.
Clint, you can have this one for free. you create a villain that is like that dude from the Wrecking Crew in Marvel that swings around the big wrecking ball.
Oh yeah,
he's got 2 of them, and his name's Brass Balls.
Brass Balls. I like it. I like it a lot.
You heard it here. You get it for free. No
less
everybody heard it. That's
and I expect just the credit. And
I will after Andy Smith. Brass Balls. No, I love it, and I love those old Wrecking Crew characters too. So it'd be fun to draw that kind of.
You could do the whole Wrecking Crew. You could have Brass Balls, the dude that carries the what's that?
Crowbar.
The crowbar is a big freaking dildo. And what's the other dude do?
See, and that's half the fun. That's half the fun of
his dildo could have an end at the end, and instead of the wrecker, he could be the fister.
Yeah.
Or it could just be the fisting crew.
You're stealing all my great ideas.
Oh, I like it.
Boys, this is good. This will definitely not be the PG-13 book.
No, it is not.
I was telling the guys before we came on,
they've got all over this.
They've got the absolute opposite ends of the spectrum here with my young adults, teenage 14-year-olds, and then Clint's book, which is what you see here.
Yeah. Mine is an adults only kind of the cock goblin. Oh, can I steal that? Because I could do a green goblin version of the
nice. I can't wait to see what's on the front of his glider.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, we can see the chat's heavily engaged in this now.
And that's the thing is these comics just write themselves once you get going. I come up with more and more stupid ideas.
Torchbearer is absolutely right. The Wrecking Crew already had one called the Pile Driver.
Exactly.
There you go.
You could do a chick called Backdoor Betty.
Oh, jeez.
Of course, I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah. See,
why don't you hit refresh? Let's see if anything happened, and we'll go back over to Brian's as well.
Sure thing. Let me scroll up here.
Yeah, there's good news there, guys.
Oh yeah, we got another backer. That is awesome.
Very good.
Love seeing that.
Very good.
Awesome. Thanks for the chat, man. Awesome, Deep Throat Thelma.
Oh, Deep Throat Thelma.
Yeah, so these are fun comics to write, and I hope everybody kind of gets a kick out of the stupid, because it's like the thing is you want to find a niche that like nobody's doing anymore. Like everything's gotten so PC and so cleaned up that you can't even like joke about. I mean, if you joke about this stuff in the wrong circles, you get in trouble. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like bring back a little bit of the fun that we used to be able to have in comics. So if you're a fan of this stuff.
Let's see. Bring in a Namor type called Flying Seaman.
Seaman.
Or no, you call it the Flying Seaman, and you actually spell it the right way though. SEA-MAN.
That's right.
So it sounds bad, but then you just go, read it, pal. Why are you taking it that
And then the title of the book can be Friendly Fire.
That's right.
Love it.
All right. Oh, there you go.
So yeah, 2 more backers, guys. Thanks very much.
Awesome.
Nice.
On the trail upward.
These campaigns are marathons. They are not sprints.
So yours says 359 days to go. Are you? How long are you leaving it up for, or is this like really is a year-long campaign?
Well, see, the intent is to fulfill this in October of 2024. However, I'm putting in a bit of a buffer there because I know that there's printer issues. There's relatives who get sick and you need to care for them. There's a lot of things that can happen there. If we get it done by June, you'll have it by June. If we get it done by April, you'll have it by April. So, it really depends on how funding goes. And if we reach our funding goal and I can get this done sooner, I'll get it to you sooner.
Oh, there you go.
Well, congratulations, you guys. Keep going. Like I said, for all of you that are going to watch this tonight, tomorrow, next week, the links are down below. Go ahead and back them. 2 completely different campaigns, but both great in their own right.
Appreciate it,
right.
guys.
And also, guys, don't forget, I've got to sign up for my new thing. Nice and tight. It is. Clint, get your mind out of the gutter.
Who doesn't like it nice and tight?
It's nice and tight. The comic book tight pencils of me. It's basically a collection of pencils I did for other inkers over the past 20 years when I was working mainstream and stuff like that. I'm picking out the best ones. 52 pages. It's saddle stitch. You can lay it flat, scan pages, print them out in blue, practice inking, whatever. So the sign up is in the description below. And I know Randy will, of course, post it because he is awesome that way. And we thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to let the people jump right on over to the Graybeards, where Aaron and the crew are starting up. And I know Aaron is also launching at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, Kevin Brevis's crowdfunding campaign. And Kevin will actually be a guest on our show next Wednesday.
Oh, is Kevin launching his campaign today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's launching on Aaron's channel?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I had to stop by. I've known Kevin for a long time. He's a Minnesota guy, so he calls me about the Vikings all the time because he doesn't have anybody to talk about the Vikings with in California. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It was weird when I became friends with the guy from the werewolf movies.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
Kevin
so
is an awesome dude.
He'll be on it at 7:30. So Pacific time, and then 4:30 Eastern. If you're in the middle of the country, sorry, Clint, nobody cares what time zone that would be. Look, hey, I didn't make the rules. I'm just saying when I see commercials, it's like, well, it's Eastern time and it's Pacific time, and I'm like, they just don't care about anybody in the middle.
Well, fly over country, we get it. We're not sensitive. We can handle it.
I think you're the soul of the nation. Dennis thinks you're the armpit. Whatever. 2 different books, 2 different viewpoints, both 180. Even though that's where Dennis is from.
I was
noticed he moved from there though. Unlike
he was a smart one.
Man, you stayed. And aren't you middle of the country too, Brian?
I'm considered Midwest. Yeah, I'm in Michigan.
See, look at you. You guys stayed. He was like, he got born.
Yeah, but
as a baby, he looked around and said, I can't wait to get the hell out of here.
Even when I was in Wisconsin, I didn't wear sleeves. Just saying.
And that's why your brain is the way it is today.
Well, guys, now you see what I put up with every single day of every week, and yet I still stay here to take this abuse to be on the channel with you guys.
That's
for
right.
punishment.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Let you guys go. Go hop on the Graybeards. We'll catch you next week. Thank you, Clint and Brian, for joining us today.
Thanks,
and,
guys.
Everybody,
Thanks for having us on.
You got it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
anytime.
And movie review coming Friday. Royal Hotel is, I believe, the name of the movie we're seeing.
Yes, if they ever get times up where we can buy tickets because they're behind the ball. But anyway, you guys know we will always get a movie review out to you.
That's right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Live long and prosper.
Hail.
See you guys.